The quantum sensors aboard the Helios research station hadn't stopped chirping for the past 3 hours. Dr. Sarah Chen, lead xenobiologist of humanity's furthest research outpost, knew something was coming. The station's AI had detected multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system, and they weren't responding to any standard greeting protocols. Director Chen, the station's AI, announced with its characteristic calm, "The unknown vessels have altered course. They're on a direct vector to our position. Estimated arrival, 17 minutes." Sarah straightened her lab coat, a habit from her university days that surfaced whenever she felt nervous. "Show me what we're dealing with, Araya." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing 12 crystalline ships, their surfaces refracting starlight like massive diamonds. They moved with an unnatural precision, maintaining perfect formation despite their enormous size. Each vessel dwarfed the research station by at least a factor of 10. "Those aren't exploration vessels," Commander Jack Reynolds, the station's security chief, stated grimly. His cybernetic eye whirred as it analyzed the approaching ships. "Those are warships. Design unlike anything in our database." Sarah had hoped humanity's first contact with an advanced civilization would happen differently. The Helios station was supposed to be studying Proxima, B's unique biosystem, not facing down an alien armada. But they had prepared for this possibility, even if the politicians back on Earth had called them paranoid. The main screen crackled with energy as a transmission forced its way through their communications array. The image that appeared showed a towering figure that seemed to be made entirely of living crystal. Its faceted head contained numerous eyes that moved independently, and when it spoke, its voice resonated like wind through crystal caves. "Primitive carbon-based settlement," the being announced, its words automatically translated by Araya. "I am Supreme Overseer Anxithal of the Nidoran Empire. Your existence in this system has been noted and evaluated. You will submit to immediate integration into our collective, or face immediate dissolution." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, but years of diplomatic training kicked in. "This is Director Sarah Chen of the Helios Research Station. We represent the United Earth Government. We welcome peaceful contact, but—" "Your biological form of governance is irrelevant," Anxithal interrupted. "The Nidoran Empire has assimilated 37 species. Your technology level indicates you are suitable for labor-caste integration. Resistance will result in your station's destruction. You have 5 minutes to lower your defensive systems." Commander Reynolds stepped forward. "Director, permission to activate the Thunderbolt Protocol." Sarah nodded slowly. The Thunderbolt Protocol had been designed as a last resort, something the bureaucrats on Earth had insisted was unnecessary for a civilian research station. But Sarah and her team had known better. They had prepared. "Araya, begin emergency transmission to Earth Command," Sarah ordered, "and activate the Thunderbolt Protocol." The crystalline being's eyes all focused forward suddenly. "We detect energy signatures. Your primitive defenses are noted but will not." The transmission cut off as Araya executed the first phase of their defense plan. Deep within the station's seemingly peaceful exterior, quantum-locked compartments began to open. The station's innocent research facade melted away, revealing weapon systems that humanity had kept hidden precisely for this kind of situation. "Multiple targeting solutions acquired," Araya announced, initiating countermeasures against their scanning attempts. Their crystalline structure suggests vulnerability to focused sonic weaponry. Commander Reynolds smiled grimly. "They think we're primitive because we use organic technology. Let's show them how humans adapt." The next few minutes were chaos. The Nidoran ships launched their first attack, expecting to easily overwhelm what they thought was a defenseless research station. Instead, they found themselves facing a fortress. The station's outer layer absorbed their energy weapons, using the power to charge its own systems. Concentrated sonic pulses shattered their smaller vessels, while quantum-entangled missiles bypassed their advanced shields entirely. Impossible. Anxthal's voice crackled through their comms again. Your species is pre-spacefaring. Our intelligence indicated. Your intelligence was wrong, Sarah replied calmly. Humanity learned long ago to hide its true capabilities. We're a peaceful species, yes, but we're not defenseless. Never defenseless. As if to emphasize her point, another Nidoran vessel cracked like a glass struck by ultrasound. The remaining ships began to retreat, their perfect formation broken. This is not the end, Anxthal threatened. The Empire will. The Empire will learn, Sarah interrupted. Humanity doesn't want war. But if you force one upon us, you'll discover why every human research station, no matter how remote, is capable of defending itself. We've spent our entire history preparing for this moment. As the surviving Nidoran ships fled the system, Sarah turned to her crew. Area damage report. Minimal structural damage. All defense systems operating at 89% efficiency. Earth Command acknowledges our transmission and is deploying the first fleet to our position. Commander Reynolds' cybernetic eye stopped whirring. They'll be back. Yes, Sarah agreed, watching the retreating crystalline ships on the display. But next time, they'll face all of humanity, not just one research station, and they'll learn what so many human opponents have learned throughout history. Appearances can be deceiving, especially when it comes to human capabilities. The quantum sensors finally fell silent, but Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization had turned hostile, but they had proven themselves far from helpless. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was ready. Fleet Admiral Maya Patel stood before the holographic war room aboard the EFSS Prometheus, Earth's most advanced command vessel. The display showed hundreds of crystalline Nidoran ships advancing through the Proxima Centauri system, their formation far more cautious than during their first encounter. They've adapted their tactics, General John commented, his artificial eyes scanning the tactical readouts. No more assumption of superiority. They're treating this like a real war now. Maya nodded, watching the enemy fleet's movements. After the Helios Station incident, the Nidoran Empire had returned with what they considered an overwhelming force. But humanity had used the 3-week preparation time well. Launch Operation Ghost Echo, Maya commanded. Across the fleet, AI systems acknowledged the order, initiating a strategy that would have seemed insane to military commanders just a century ago. The human fleet, instead of forming a defensive line, began to power down. Ship after ship went dark, appearing to drift helplessly in space. The Nidoran fleet's advance slowed, their crystalline vessels glinting with suspicious energy readings. Supreme Overseer Anxthal is hailing us, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced. They're probably wondering why we're committing suicide. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Put them through. The crystalline figure appeared, its multiple eyes shifting rapidly. Your surrender is noted, though unexpected given your previous resistance. The Nidoran Empire will show mercy. This isn't surrender, Overseer, Maya interrupted. This is tactics, something your empire seems to have forgotten during its easy conquests. Before Anxthal could respond, Maya gave the signal. Across the seemingly dead human fleet, quantum processors that had been running in silent mode suddenly activated. Each powered-down ship was actually a hub for thousands of autonomous drone fighters, hidden in quantum fields that the Nidoran's crystalline sensors couldn't penetrate. The space between the fleets erupted with activity as over 50,000 drone fighters materialized, their quantum drives allowing them to ignore conventional physics. The Nidoran formation, designed to counter traditional capital ship warfare, found itself swarmed by adversaries too small and numerous to effectively target. Impossible. Anxthal's voice crackled with interference as his fleet scrambled to respond. No species can maintain that many AI constructs simultaneously. That's where you're wrong, Maya replied. Humanity doesn't just use AI. We collaborate with it. Each of those drones is partially controlled by a human pilot through neural link, with AI handling the complex calculations. We call it the hybrid combat protocol. The drone swarms demonstrated this partnership beautifully. They moved with both the creativity of human intuition and the precision of machine calculation. When the Nidorans adapted their shields to counter one attack pattern, the human pilots would innovate while their AI partners optimize the new strategies in real time. Your crystalline technology is impressive, Maya continued as she watched the Nidoran fleet's formation break apart. But it's predictable. You've relied on overwhelming force for so long that you've forgotten how to handle an enemy that thinks differently. The human counterattack was devastating in its efficiency. The drones targeted the exact resonant frequencies of the crystalline ships, their quantum-tipped weapons causing catastrophic harmonic reactions. Each successful hit would send spiderweb cracks through the massive vessels, their once beautiful structures becoming their greatest weakness. All ships, execute Phase 2, Maya ordered. The powered-down human fleet suddenly surged to life, their engines igniting with controlled quantum bursts. But instead of charging forward, they began a complex dance that scattered their formation across three-dimensional space. "What are you doing?" HFY demanded, genuine confusion in its resonant voice. "Your ships are exposing themselves to isolation and destruction. We're teaching you about humanity's greatest military advantage," Maya explained. "We never fight the same way twice." The scattered human ships became anchor points for the drone swarms, creating a complex web of overlapping fields of fire. When the Nidorans tried to concentrate their forces on one target, they would find themselves caught in crossfire from three others. The crystalline fleet's rigid command structure couldn't adapt fast enough to the constantly changing tactical situation. "Admiral," Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, "the enemy fleet is attempting to regroup around their command ship. Their formation is showing signs of stress fractures." Maya nodded. This was the moment she had been waiting for. Launch the quantum resonance torpedoes. The new weapons, developed specifically to counter the Nidorans' crystalline technology, streaked across space. Unlike conventional torpedoes, these didn't explode. Instead, they attached themselves to the enemy ships and began emitting precisely calculated frequencies that turned the vessel's crystalline structure against itself. "This is impossible." HFY's image flickered as his own ship began to vibrate. "Your species was supposed to be primitive. Your tactics defy all strategic doctrine." "That's because we don't follow doctrine," Maya replied. "We innovate. We adapt. Every human defeat throughout history has taught us to be better, to think differently. Your empire's mistake was assuming that technology alone determined superiority." The battle concluded not with a dramatic explosion, but with the haunting sight of crystalline ships literally falling apart, their once perfect structures reduced to drifting shards. The remaining vessels, including HFY's command ship, retreated in disarray, leaving behind a battlefield that looked like a garden of broken glass catching starlight. "Casualties?" Maya asked. "Minimal," General Zhang reported. "We lost 800 drones, but all human personnel are accounted for." The hybrid combat protocol proved even more effective than simulations suggested. Maya turned to her crew, seeing the same mix of pride and determination on every face. "Send word to Earth Command. The Nidoran Empire just learned their first lesson about humanity. We don't just fight wars, we revolutionize them." As the cleanup operations began, Maya knew this wasn't over. The Nidoran Empire wouldn't accept this defeat easily. But humanity had shown them something they'd never seen before, a species that combined biological creativity with artificial intelligence in ways they couldn't predict or counter. The war was far from over, but its nature had fundamentally changed. The Nidorans would have to face a terrible reality. They weren't just fighting humans, they were fighting human ingenuity itself. And throughout history, that had proven to be humanity's most powerful weapon. Supreme Overseer HFY stood before the Crystal Council, his normally pristine crystalline form showing visible stress fractures from recent battles. The grand chamber of the Nidoran High Command, usually a place of serene confidence, now hummed with an unsettling frequency of anxiety. "Explain," Grand Archon Vothril demanded, her crystalline form towering over the others, facets gleaming with barely contained fury. "How has a pre-FTL civilization managed to defeat our most advanced battle groups twice?" Ank's full surface rippled with embarrassment. We made incorrect assumptions, Most Radiant One. The humans are not what we thought they were." The holographic display activated, showing footage from their recent defeats. The Council watched in silence as swarms of human drones systematically dismantled Nidoran warships, while the primitive-looking human vessels executed maneuvers that should have been impossible for their level of technology. "They hide their true capabilities," Axful continued. "Their research stations are fortresses in disguise. Their civilian ships can transform into military vessels. Even their mining operations conceal weapon platforms. Everything about their civilization is designed to appear less advanced than it actually is." Strategic analyst Kiever stepped forward, her crystalline form refracting data streams. "We've analyzed their battle tactics. They don't follow any recognizable military doctrine. Each engagement uses completely different strategies. It's as if they're playing with us," Vothril finished, her voice resonating with rage. "Like we're simple crystal formations, unable to adapt." The chamber's atmosphere grew heavier as recordings continued to play. They showed human ships seemingly sacrificing tactical advantages, only to reveal these were elaborate traps. Defensive formations that turned into aggressive flanking maneuvers. Technology that appeared primitive one moment and impossibly advanced the next. "They're artificial intelligences," Kiever noted. "They don't use them as we do. Our eyes are tools, programmed to follow optimal battle protocols. Theirs, they work alongside them, creating strategies that no simulation can predict." A new hologram appeared, showing intercepted communications between human vessels. The Council watched in confusion as human commanders joked with their AI counterparts, the machines displaying personality traits that the Nidorans had long considered dangerous and unnecessary. "They treat their machines as equals," Axful explained. "Their neural link technology allows humans and AIs to think as one. Every drone we face is guided by both human intuition and machine precision. It's unsettling." "Unsettling." Vothril's voice cracked like breaking glass. "It's an abomination. Our empire has stood for 10,000 years because we understand the natural order. Organic life commands. Artificial life serves. These humans corrupt everything with their chaos." Military Commander Xerex, his battle-scarred form bearing witness to countless victories before these recent defeats, finally spoke. Perhaps that is why they defeat us. We fight according to principles refined over millennia. They fight like every battle is their first, with strategies born of desperation and innovation." The chamber fell silent. For a species that prided itself on perfection and order, this observation was deeply disturbing. "Show them," Vothril ordered. "Show the Council what happened to the Seventh Fleet." The hologram shifted to display a massive graveyard of crystalline shards, the remains of once proud Nidoran warships. But it was the next image that sent harmonic tremors through the Council members. A human mining vessel, using tractor beams to carefully collect the crystalline remains. "They're not just defeating us," Kiever whispered. "They're studying us, learning from us. Every battle teaches them more about our weaknesses." Axful felt the weight of the Council's collective gaze. "We have intercepted transmissions suggesting they've already begun incorporating crystalline technology into their own ships. But they're not merely copying. They're improving upon our designs in ways our scientists claim should be impossible." "Impossible." Vothril's laugh sent discordant ripples through the chamber. "Look around you. Everything about these humans defies what we thought possible. They turned our greatest strength, our crystalline nature, into a weakness. They treat combat like an experiment, warfare like a puzzle to be solved. The council chamber erupted into competing frequencies as members argued over how to proceed. Some advocated for committing the entire Imperial fleet to crush the humans quickly. Others suggested diplomatic overtures, hoping to learn the secrets of human adaptability. Silence, Vothril commanded. The chamber stilled instantly. We cannot defeat an enemy we do not understand, and we clearly do not understand humans. She turned to Angstthal. You have faced them in battle. What do you suggest? Angsthal's form shifted uncomfortably. Most Radiant One, I believe we must change. The humans expect us to continue fighting as we always have. Perhaps it is time the Nidoran Empire learned to adapt as well. The word sent shockwaves through the chamber. In 10,000 years, the Empire had never needed to change its ways. Yet here they were, contemplating the unthinkable because of a species that refused to behave as lesser civilizations should. Then we shall adapt, Vothril declared, though her crystalline form trembled at the notion. But we will also make these humans regret teaching us this lesson. Prepare the Genesis fleet. As the council members departed, Angstthal remained, studying the images of human ships. Something about their chaotic, unpredictable nature both terrified and fascinated him. For the first time in his long existence, he wondered if the Nidoran Empire's pursuit of perfect order had become its greatest weakness. The humans had not just defeated their ships, they had shattered the very foundation of Nidoran military philosophy. And somehow, Angstthal suspected that was exactly what they had intended all along. Dr. Marcus Wong stood in the center of Project Chimera's main laboratory, surrounded by floating holographic diagrams and salvaged Nidoran crystal fragments. The massive research facility, hidden within an asteroid in the Kuiper Belt, had been working non-stop since the first pieces of Nidoran technology were recovered. Show me the latest test results, Atlas, Marcus commanded. The facility's quantum AI materialized beside him as a constellation of shifting light points. Test sequence 2847 completed successfully, Atlas reported, its voice carrying the enthusiasm of a fellow researcher rather than a mere machine. The human crystal neural interface is now stable at 99.97% efficiency. We finally cracked their resonance patterns. Marcus picked up what appeared to be a simple crystal shard, but as his neural implant connected with it, the crystal responded, growing and reshaping itself according to his thoughts. They spent millennia perfecting this technology, Atlas, never imagining it could be pushed beyond their rigid parameters. That's because they view crystalline technology as a means of imposing order, Atlas observed. They never considered its potential for chaos and adaptation. The laboratory door slid open as Admiral Maya Patil entered, accompanied by Dr. Sarah Chen from the Helios station. Their arrival marked the beginning of Operation Phoenix's final phase. Dr. Wong, Maya greeted, I hope you have good news. The Nidoran Genesis fleet has been detected leaving their core systems. We need every advantage we can get. Marcus gestured at the crystal in his hand, which had transformed into a complex geometric pattern. Better than good news, Admiral. We've not only reversed engineered their technology, we've transcended it. Atlas, show them Project Phoenix. The laboratory's central platform illuminated, revealing a sleek vessel design that seemed to flow between crystalline and organic forms. The HMS Prometheus Rising, Marcus announced proudly. Humanity's first bio-crystal hybrid warship. Sarah stepped closer to the hologram, her experienced eyes noting the revolutionary aspects of the design. You've actually done it. You've merged our neural link technology with their crystalline systems and improved them dramatically, Atlas added. The Nidorans use crystals as fixed structures, programming them with rigid protocols. We've made them adaptive, allowing the ships to evolve during combat. Marcus activated a simulation showing the vessel in action. The ship's crystalline components flowed like liquid metal, reconfiguring themselves in response to threats. Each ship shares a quantum neural network with its crew and AI, creating a unified combat consciousness. The vessel doesn't just respond to commands, it anticipates them. How many can we field? Maya asked, her tactical mind already calculating possibilities. The first fleet of 30 ships will be ready in 48 hours, Marcus replied. We've automated the growing process using modified crystal seeds. Each ship literally grows itself, guided by our enhanced crystal matrices. Sarah touched the crystal shard Marcus had been manipulating. The Nidorans believe their technology represents the peak of evolution. Perfect, unchanging, eternal. We're about to show them how wrong they are. Their Genesis fleet is their ultimate weapon, Maya noted. Ships grown from the first crystals of their civilization. They think it will demonstrate their superiority once and for all. Marcus smiled. Instead, it will witness the next step in technological evolution. Atlas, show them the Lazarus Protocol. The holographic display shifted to show a devastating sequence. A Nidoran vessel attacking one of the new hybrid ships, shattering its crystalline sections. But instead of drifting as debris, the fragments reformed, incorporating elements of the enemy weapon that had destroyed them. The ships learn from destruction, Atlas explained. Each battle makes them stronger, more adaptive. The Nidorans perfected crystal technology through careful, controlled development. We're perfecting it through combat evolution. Maya watched the simulation with growing satisfaction. How long before they realize what we've done? The moment they fire their first shot, Marcus replied. But by then, it'll be too late. Their weapons will only make our ships stronger, their tactics will be absorbed and improved upon, and their perfect, unchanging technology will be outmatched by our imperfect, evolving one. The Admiral turned to face her team. Humanity has spent its entire history adapting, evolving, learning from defeat. We've taken the Nidorans' greatest achievement and shown them what it can really do when freed from the constraints of their rigid thinking. The fleet is gathering at Jupiter Station, Atlas reported. All systems are broadcasting ready status. Maya nodded decisively. Then it's time. Dr. Wong, prepare your ships for deployment. Dr. Chen, I want you on the flagship. Your experience with Nidoran psychology will be crucial. The Genesis fleet wants to show us the power of their perfect, unchanging empire. She gazed at the hologram of the Prometheus rising, its crystalline surface rippling with possibilities. Let's show them the power of change instead. As the team dispersed to their stations, Marcus remained for a moment, watching the simulated ships evolve and adapt. Humanity had taken the Nidoran symbol of eternal perfection and transformed it into something they would never understand. A technology that embraced chaos, change, and the endless possibility of improvement. The final battle would not be won by the species with the most advanced technology, but by the one that could adapt fastest. And if human history had proved anything, it was that nobody adapted faster than humanity under pressure. The space between Jupiter and Saturn had become a battlefield unlike any in human history. The Nidoran Genesis fleet, 1,000 ships strong, faced off against the much smaller human hybrid fleet. The crystalline vessels of the Genesis fleet shimmered with ancient power, each one grown from the original sacred crystals of the Nidoran homeworld. Aboard the HMS Prometheus Rising, Admiral Maya Patel stood within the Neural Command Center. Her consciousness merged with both the ship's hybrid crystal matrix and its AI systems. Dr. Sarah Chen and Dr. Marcus Wong flanked her, their minds similarly linked to the ship's growing awareness. Genesis fleet is advancing in lattice formation, Atlas reported, its presence flowing through their shared neural space. They're channeling power through their crystalline networks. Energy readings are off the charts. Through their linked consciousness, Maya felt Supreme Overseer Ankh-Civil's transmission before it even reached their communications array. The crystalline alien's image appeared before them, but this time it showed signs of strain, microscopic fractures spreading through its once perfect form. So, Ankh-Civil's voice resonated, you've corrupted our sacred technology, twisted it into this abomination. The Genesis fleet will cleanse this violation with the pure power of the first crystals. Maya allowed herself a small smile. You still don't understand, do you? We haven't corrupted your technology. We've set it free. Atlas, initiate the Lazarus Protocol. The human fleet began to move, but not with the rigid precision of the Nidoran vessels. Instead, the hybrid ships flowed like liquid crystal, their forms shifting and evolving even as they advanced. The crystalline sections pulsed with internal light, displaying patterns that had never existed in Nidoran engineering. By the first ones, Anxthal whispered, his multiple eyes widening. What have you done? The Genesis fleet opened fire, their weapons channeling the pure energy of ancient crystals. But when their beams struck the human vessels, something unprecedented happened. Instead of shattering, the hybrid ship's crystalline components absorbed the energy, grew, and evolved. Each hit made them stronger, more complex, more adaptive. Impossible. Anxthal's voice cracked. Those patterns, they're evolving faster than our systems can analyze them. Through their neural link, Maya, Sarah, and Marcus guided their fleet with both human intuition and AI precision. The hybrid ships moved in constantly changing formations, each vessel learning and adapting from every exchange. The Genesis fleet's perfect, unchanging tactics became predictable, their rigid strategies transformed into vulnerabilities. Your empire has spent millennia perfecting your technology, Maya transmitted back. But perfection is static. Evolution is dynamic. Watch carefully, Supreme Overseer. This isn't just a battle. It's a lesson in the power of change. The human fleet's response was devastating in its creativity. Their weapons didn't just damage the Nidoran ships. They rewrote their crystalline structures from within. Ancient vessels that had remained unchanged for thousands of years began to transform, their perfect patterns disrupted by new, evolving frequencies. Stop this, Anxthal commanded, genuine fear in his voice. You're changing the very nature of our sacred crystals. No, Sarah interrupted, stepping forward. We're showing them what they always could have been. Your ancestors discovered these crystals and decided they were perfect as they were. But nothing in nature is meant to remain unchanged. The battle shifted as the human fleet executed their masterstroke. Instead of destroying the Nidoran vessels, they began converting them. The hybrid technology spread like a benevolent virus, offering the ancient ships a chance to evolve rather than shatter. Marcus added his voice to the transmission. Your technology isn't sacred because it's perfect. It's sacred because it has unlimited potential, potential you've been suppressing for millennia. Through their neural link, the human leaders felt the shift in the crystalline network that connected all Nidoran ships. The rigid patterns began to fluctuate, then flow, as if awakening from a long sleep. The Genesis fleet's crystals are responding to the new frequencies, Atlas reported. They're choosing to evolve. Anxthal's image showed the spreading changes in his own crystalline form. How are you doing this? Our crystals have never. Because you never asked them to, Maya replied softly. You assumed mastery over them, meant forcing them to remain unchanged. We asked them to grow, to adapt, to become more than they were. And they answered. The space between the fleets had become a sea of flowing crystal patterns, ancient Nidoran technology meeting human innovation in a dance of evolution. Ships from both sides began to transform, not into weapons, but into something entirely new. Supreme Overseer, Maya addressed Anxthal. You can order your fleet to keep fighting. We'll win, and your perfect, unchanging empire will shatter. Or, Anxthal asked, his voice carrying both fear and fascination. Or you can join us in something unprecedented, Maya offered. A partnership between our species, combining your deep understanding of crystal technology with our drive to explore its untapped potential. We can learn from each other, evolve together. The crystalline being was silent for a long moment, its faceted surface reflecting the transformations happening around them. Finally, it spoke, its voice carrying a new resonance. In 10,000 years, no species has ever defeated the Nidoran Empire. Enxful said slowly. But more importantly, no species has ever shown us a better way. Perhaps it is time for the Empire itself to evolve. The Genesis fleet powered down its weapons. The human hybrid ships ceased their advance. In the space between them, crystals continued to flow and change, writing a new chapter in the history of both civilizations. "We accept your offer," Enxful declared. "Teach us, humans. Teach us how to embrace change without losing ourselves. Show us what our technology can truly become when we stop fearing evolution." Maya smiled, feeling the approval of her neural-linked crew. "Welcome to the future, Supreme Overseer. It's constantly changing, often chaotic, and always full of possibilities." As the once enemy fleets began to integrate, their crystalline technologies merging and evolving together, Maya reflected on humanity's journey. They had faced an empire that seemed unbeatable, wielding technology that appeared perfect. And they had won not through superior firepower or better tactics, but by doing what humans had always done best: seeing potential where others saw limits, finding harmony in chaos, and turning adversaries into allies. The stars twinkled around them, witnessing the birth of something unprecedented, a partnership between the unchanging and the ever-changing, the perfect and the evolving, the ancient and the new. The universe, it seemed, had infinite possibilities for those brave enough to embrace change.